Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your Battleground pay-per-view results and the pre-show. 2013 WWE Battleground kickoff. Pre-show started with Josh Matthews, Tensai, and The Miz, along with Titus O'Neil talking about the card, and then they go to Renee Young, who is along with the social media and power couple poll on the WWE's website. Matthews talks to Ryback and Paul Heyman, who are backstage. Heyman calls CM Punk a serial bully, a serial stalker. He says Punk and his fans are trying to bully his big, bad, beautiful Ryback. He says Ryback will stop Punk tonight. And we go to Michael Cole, JBL, and Jerry Lawler at ringside. Apparently the World Heavyweight title match, it will open the pay-per-view. Damian Sandow versus Dolph Ziggler on the pre-show. We go to the ring. Lillian Garcia handles the introductions. Damian Sandow was out first with his Money in the Bank briefcase and cut a promo. Sandow said that he will decimate Dolph Ziggler. Sandow promised when he does cash in, he will be the kind of champion we can model our life after. Sandow teased cashing in tonight, and out next comes Dolph Ziggler. They lock up and they go to start the match. They take a commercial like a few minutes in the preview show. Lost to back and forth action with pin attempts. Sandow took control and put knees to Dolph's back after a big clothesline. As Sandow kept Ziggler grounded on the mat, at least for now. Ziggler came back with a pin attempt, but Sandow turned it back around. Sandow nailed the elbow of Disdain for another 2 count. As Ziggler fought back, but Sandow stopped him. Sandow then comes off the top, but Ziggler drop kicks him in midair. Ziggler made a big comeback and mounts Sandow with right hands in the corner. Ziggler with a neck breaker. He misses a big leg drop, and Sandow drops him. More pin attempts by Sandow. Ziggler gets a close pin attempt in, and Sandow blocks the sleeper, and Ziggler misses a splash in the corner. 2 count by Sandow. Sandow drops a big knee. The end comes with Sandow sells a knee injury, and Ziggler hits the zigzag for the win. Then we get hyped for the Rhodes family storyline. 2013 Battleground pay-per-view kicks off with promo for tonight's matches. Hardcore rules match for the World Heavyweight title started off the show. Started off Battleground, RVD versus Alberto Del Rio. We go right to the ring, and out first comes RVD with Ricardo Rodriguez. And World Heavyweight Championship, Alberto Del Rio was out next. And we get official introductions from Lillian Garcia before the match. Ricardo handled the intro for RVD. Del Rio insists Lillian introduce him in Spanish. Del Rio strikes first and beats RVD down to the mat. Del Rio with a superplex and a 2 count. And now to talk about Sandow injuring his knee during the pre-show. Del Rio goes under the ring, but RVD baseball slides and kicks him into the barrier. RVD follows and works on Del Rio on the floor. RVD with a moonsault off the barrier. RVD brings it back in the ring and grabs a steel chair. Del Rio blocks him. RVD springboards in with a DDT and drops Del Rio on the chair for a 2 count. Del Rio turns it around with a backstabber and a 2 count. Del Rio grabs the steel chair and hits RVD in the gut with it. And then Del Rio with chair shots to the back now. 2 count for Del Rio. Del Rio with a chin lock. Del Rio with kicks to the back and more offense, including a kick to the face. Del Rio wedges a chair into turnbuckles, but turns around into a big kick from RVD. RVD then chokes Del Rio with his boot. And RVD brings in a ladder from underneath the ring, and fans pop for that. And Del Rio grabs the ladder and they struggle for it. Del Rio goes down. RVD comes back in the ring with a thrust kick from the top rope. RVD stands the ladder up in the corner with more. RVD gets more kicks, and RVD whips Del Rio hard into the ladder, and he flies out to the floor. RVD brought it back in the ring for another 2 count, and fans chant for tables this time. RVD with more kicks to the head. RVD whipped Del Rio into the ladder again. Then he followed up with a heel kick. RVD went for a catapult off the ladder, but it's blocked. Del Rio lands a big enziguri. The ladder falls on top of RVD, and Del Rio stomps on it. Del Rio took control of the match. Del Rio gets a trash can from underneath the ring and beats RVD with it. Del Rio with fingers to the mouth now. As Del Rio comes off the second rope with a trash can, but RVD kicks it into his face. RVD makes a comeback. RVD then lays the ladder out flat on the mat in front of the turnbuckle that slams Del Rio on top of it. RVD with a split-legged moonsault on top of Del Rio and the ladder. 2 count by RVD with a cover. More offense from RVD. Del Rio falls on top of the ladder. And RVD goes for the Rolling Thunder on top of it, but Del Rio moves and RVD lands bad on the ladder. Del Rio goes for a cross arm breaker and locks it in. Ricardo runs in and nails Del Rio with a bucket. Breaking the hold, RVD rolls Del Rio up from behind for a 2 count. And then Del Rio tosses RVD out to the floor and he lands on a trash can. Del Rio has words with Ricardo in the ring. And Ricardo hands him the bucket, but stops and kicks him below the belt. Ricardo then nails Del Rio with the bucket, and they go to the floor. Del Rio throws Ricardo harder to the barrier. Del Rio lays Ricardo out with a big kick. RVD runs back in and kicks the ladder into Del Rio's face. Del Rio falls to the floor. With the ladder on top of him, RVD nails a splash from the apron to the Del Rio on the ladder. RVD brought Del Rio back in the ring and covers for a 2 count. Fans chant for tables again. RVD grabs a chair instead, and they pop. RVD went for the top rope with a chair shot for the Van Terminator across the ring. Del Rio moved, and RVD landed hard, and Del Rio grabbed the chair and set it up. RVD blocked with a jawbreaker. RVD charged, but Del Rio hits drop toe hold, sending RVD face first into the chair. Very similar to Raven's drop toe hold into the chair. And Del Rio with a super kick to the face. Del Rio wraps RVD's arm in the chair and stomps away. Del Rio applies a cross arm breaker with the chair still wrapped around RVD's arm for RVD tapping out. After the match, go to replays. Del Rio celebrates at ringside as RVD tries to recover in the ring. No cash in by Sandow. Zeb Coulter backstage with Jack Swagger and Antonio Cesaro. Zeb rips on the city of Buffalo and illegals crossing the border. He talks about what they are going to do against the Great Khali and Santino Marella. Which is up next. We go to the ring. Out first comes Khali with Hornswoggle. Santino Marella was out next. So you got Coulter coming out next with Swagger and Antonio Cesaro right behind him. Santino started things off with Swagger. Swagger with a headlock and a big shoulder off the ropes. Swagger wasted time and saluted Zeb. Swagger took Santino to the mat. Slow start to the match early on. They lock up again and Swagger applied another headlock. And We the People chant starts in the crowd. They run the ropes and Santino drops Swagger with a shoulder. Santino scoop slams Swagger and pulls out the Cobra. Swagger charges and gets hip tossed. Santino goes for the Cobra, but Swagger jumps to the floor. Hornswoggle approaches him with a mini Cobra. Swagger takes it off of his hand and scares Hornswoggle back. This leads to Swagger dropping Santino over the top rope. And Cesaro tags in and goes to work on Santino. Swagger tags back in and they keep Santino in their corner. Swagger with a Swagger bomb and attack to Cesaro for some double teaming. Cesaro kept control of Santino and Santino fought back. But Cesaro stopped him and tagged and rammed Santino into the corner. Swagger came back in for more offense on Santino. 2 count by Swagger. Santino managed to turn it around with a backdrop on Swagger. Khali and Cesaro both tag in. Khali pushes him back and comes in. Khali unloads on Cesaro and takes him to the corner. Khali with a huge elbow and chops to the chest. Khali nails a big overhead chop on Cesaro, but Swagger makes the pin at 2 count. Khali then sends Swagger to the floor with a big chop to the head. Santino leaps out onto Swagger on the floor. Cesaro and Khali go at it. And Cesaro takes his leg out, which sets up a very impressive giant swing on Khali for the pin and the win. After the match, Real America celebrate and pose with Zeb Coulter in the ring. And we see replays of the giant swing on Khali. Then we get a video for WWE's fight against Wes Kessler with Susan G. Komen. Next up is the Intercontinental title match, R-Truth versus Curtis Axel. We go right to the ring, and out first comes Paul Heyman with Intercontinental Champion Curtis Axel. We see footage from Raw where R-Truth earned a title shot, and Truth comes out next, rapping to the ring. Does his "What's up?" They lock up and then go to the corner and the ropes. Truth connects with a big right hand and goes to work on Axel. Truth drops Axel with an elbow and covers for a 2 count. Truth kept control and mounts Axel with right hand in the corner. Truth then slams Axel for another 2 count. Truth clotheslines Axel out to the floor as Heyman looks on. Truth with a clothesline from the apron as the ref counts. Truth brings it back in the ring and covers for a 2 count. Axel goes back out to the floor to talk with Heyman. Truth follows out, but Axel sends him into the fan barrier. Axel rams Truth back into the barrier again. Axel brings it back in the ring for a quick pin attempt. Axel kept control and nailed a big drop kick for a 2 count, more back and forth for a moment. As Truth comes back with clotheslines, counters, and Axel rolls him up for a close 2 count. Truth knocks Axel right back to the mat. A JBL chant starts up in the crowd out of nowhere. Truth with a scissor kick for a close 2 count, and more back and forth action, and Axel ends up getting the win with his finisher. Next up, we got the Divas title match: Brie Bella versus AJ Lee. Straight to the ring, out comes first the Bella twins, and then of course AJ Lee, along with the Muscle, Tamina Snuka. They talk trash. After the bell, and Brie slaps AJ. Brie unloads on AJ and takes her to the mat. AJ scrambles out of the ring to regroup, but Brie follows her. Tamina gets in the way and won't let Brie get to AJ. As Brie chases AJ back into the ring, blocks her and gets a 2 count. Brie takes AJ to the corner. When kicks and beats her down, Brie rams AJ back into another corner and keeps the offense coming. Brie with a drop kick off the second rope for a 2 count. AJ turns things around and sends Brie out to the floor. AJ brings it back in the ring, covers for a 2. AJ kept control and worked on Brie's arm. Brie fought back with a shot, and then they trade holds. AJ dropped Brie with an arm breaker for a 2 count. AJ screamed in frustration and pushes Brie back to the mat. AJ with knees to the back on the ropes now. AJ stomps away in the corner with some more beat down and showing off. She charges in the corner and misses. Brie tries for a comeback, but AJ unloads on her arm. AJ with an armbar, and Nikki Bella cheers for her sister on from ringside. Back and forth action again. AJ shows off and skips around the ring as the crowd pops. AJ turns around to a drop kick from Brie. Brie gets a roll up, but Brie then delivers a clothesline and another drop kick and gets a backbreaker over her knee for another 2 count. And we see Tamina attacking Nikki at ringside. This gets a distraction. She moves Nikki face first into the apron. This distracted Brie. Brie goes to save her sister, and AJ rolls her up from behind for the win. After the match, Bella check on each other as AJ and Tamina leave together, head up the ramp, as they go to replays. Then we get recap videos for the Rhodes family storyline. Renee Young is backstage with Cody Rhodes, Dusty Rhodes, and Goldust. Dusty talks about family and being together. He says no matter what happens, they will leave Buffalo with their heads held high. Goldust says tonight they will expose the hounds of justice for what they are, the authorities' puppet. Cody puts over his dad and brother. He says there is no length he would go to protect his family's future. Cody says tonight they fight for their lives and their family. And we go to the ring. Out first comes the Shield. Tag team champion Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns head to the ring with the U.S. champion Dean Ambrose. Out next comes Cody and Goldust with their father Dusty. To Dusty's theme song, if Team Rhodes wins this one, Cody gets his job back. Goldust gets his job. And Dusty keeps his job in NXT. If they lose, they're all gone from WWE for good. Cody starts things off with Rollins. Cody ducks and goes to work on Rollins, taking him into the corner. Reigns comes in and gets sent to the corner where Goldust gets some shots in. Goldust tags in and they double team Reigns, but Rollins puts him to safety, pulls him to safety. The Shield discuss strategy at ringside now. They walk towards Dusty at ringside and they get a 3-on-3 stare down. Goldust hits the ring and it waits on Reigns. They go at it and trade shots. Goldust runs over Reigns and tags in Cody for a little double teaming. As Rollins tags in and keeps Cody down in the Shield's corner. Rhodes turns it around and takes Rollins to another corner for a beatdown. Rollins ducks the clothesline and sends Cody into the corner. Reigns comes in and runs over Cody with a shoulder. Reigns with a 2 count. Rollins comes off the top rope with some double teaming as they keep Cody in their corner. Cody looks to fight them both off, but Rollins takes him to the top, and we get it. We want Goldust chant start from the crowd. Cody fights Rollins and Reigns off. He nails a big moonsault on Rollins. Goldust and Reigns come in on tag. Goldust unloads and hits a big right hand. Goldust with an atomic drop and a kick to the face. Goldust mounts Reigns with right hands in the corner now, and Reigns misses a splash in the corner. Goldust goes to the top and hits a big crossbody for a 2 count. Back and forth action as Goldust misses a clothesline and flies out of the ring in front of Rollins and Ambrose. Cody comes over to even things up. Rollins tosses Goldust into the barrier as the referee counts. Goldust makes it back in at the 9 count. 2 count by Rollins, and the beatdown continues. Reigns tags in and keeps Goldust in their corner as Dusty looks on. Reigns keeps Goldust grounded with a headlock. Goldust finally fights out. Reigns hits a big flying clothesline for another 2 count. Reigns drags Goldust back to their corner and tags in Rollins for some more offense on Goldust. Goldust blocks a shot off the ropes and goes for a tag, but it's blocked. Reigns tags back in another tag to Rollins. He runs the ropes and Goldust catches him with a big power slam. Cody finally tags in and goes at it with Rollins with a big springboard drop kick. Reigns goes down. More offense on Rollins. Cody with an Alabama slam and a 2 count on Rollins. Cody charges in the corner, but Rollins blocks him. Cody with a muscle buster out of the corner. Cody covers for a 2 as Reigns breaks the pin. Goldust takes out Reigns, but Reigns hits Goldust and sends him to the floor. Cody with a disaster kick on Reigns. Cody then clotheslines Reigns to the floor. Ambrose gets up, but Cody knocks him off the apron. Ambrose distracts Cody, allowing Rollins to attack him from behind. Dusty then gets involved with Ambrose and throws his hat at him. Dusty hits a right hand and a bionic elbow on Ambrose. The crowd pops as Ambrose retreats from Dusty. Goldust stops Reigns from attacking Dusty on the floor, and Rollins with a roll-up on Cody for a 2 count. Cody nails Crossroads for the win out of nowhere. New champions, Cody Rhodes and Goldust, and also they get to keep their job. After the match, Rhodes family celebrating the ring as Dusty's music plays. Dusty gets to keep his job, and Cody gets his job back. But the replays, Rhodes family ends up on the stage where a bunch of WWE agents and superstars from the locker room come out to celebrate with them. Back to Josh Matthews and the panel to talk about what has happened so far tonight. Backstage segment with Brad Maddox and Vicky Guerrero. Brad wants Vicky's help keeping things under control. Vicky says Triple H and Stephanie McMahon left Maddox in charge, so it's all on him. She laughs as she exits off the camera. Next up, we get Kofi Kingston versus Bray Wyatt. Follow the buzzers, Racing's always said. We go to the ring. Out first comes Kofi. The lights go out. Bray Wyatt lights the lantern and makes his way to the ring with Eric Rowan and Luke Harper. So we get almost 3-on-1 action. Wyatt gets up from his rocking chair on the ramp and makes his way to the ring. Bray charges, but Kofi strikes first with kicks. Bray laughs. Kofi with more offense, but Bray catches his legs and sends him to the mat. Kofi comes right back and kicks Wyatt in the face from the corner. Kofi goes to the top, but Bray knocks him down. Bray with a running splash in the corner. Wyatt with more offense and a 2 count. Bray beats Kofi down in the corner until the referee backs him off. Bray with a big clothesline. Bray kept Kofi grounded and yells out. Bray scoop slams Kofi and drops him with a big elbow for a 2. Kofi finally fought back and out, but Bray scooped him up. Kofi falls on top of Bray for a 1 count. Kofi springboarded in, but Wyatt caught him with a scoop slam for a 2 count again. Kofi countered and dropped Bray on his head. Kofi with a chop and a drop kick. Kofi with a big right hand and a boom drop. Bray ducked Trouble in Paradise, run the ropes, and they collide in midair after a nasty Bray crossbody. Bray tries walking upside down like a spider, but falls on his head. He ends up on the floor. Kofi runs the ropes and leaps out onto the Wyatt family, taking them all out. They come back in, and Kofi keeps control with a 2 count by Kofi. Kofi goes up for a sunset flip, but Wyatt caught him, hit him, and blocked the SOS and nails Sister Abigail for the win. After the match, Rowan scooped Kofi and dropped him over his knee before throwing him into a clothesline from Harper. Wyatt took the mic and said that there is no right, there is no wrong. All that is left are all the mannequins trying to force feed us what their ideas of purity are. Wyatt promises there will be none of them left in due time. One by one, they will fall. Follow the buzzards, he says. The Wyatt family pose as the lights go out again. Then we get a look back at it. Antonio Cesaro hitting the giant swing on Great Khali from earlier. They air a promo video for Ryback versus Punk. Then we go to the ring. Out first comes Ryback with Paul Heyman. Punk without Nick to a big pop. They lock up and they go at it. Going into the corner, Ryback talks trash and tells Punk, let's fight. Fans chant for Punk. They lock up again. Ryback nails shoulder thrust. In the corner, Punk comes back with kicks and sends Ryback out to the floor. Ryback meets with Heyman for advice. Ryback goes back into the ring and Punk works him over. They end up on the floor. Punk whips Ryback into the barrier. Punk goes on top of the barrier and leaps off, but Ryback catches him. Punk counters and sends Ryback into the ring post. They come back in and Punk nails the crossbody for a 2 count. Punk with kicks until Ryback sends him face first into the turnbuckles. A "You can't wrestle" chant starts up from the crowd. Ryback presses Punk from the top to the mat. Ryback slides Punk across the ring and into the bottom of the ring post. He works Punk over on the ring post some more before coming back in. Heyman looks on and smiles. Goldberg chant starts up next from the crowd. Ryback keeps Punk on the mat with a headlock. Ryback with more offense, including chops to the corner. Ryback stands on Punk's head as the referee counts. Punk tries to make a comeback, but Ryback runs him over. Ryback suplexes Punk and drops him on the top rope before kicking him to the apron. Ryback is still in control as he taunts Punk and slaps him around. Ryback gets some shoulder thrusts in the corner. Ryback gets a 2 count as Heyman is yelling at ringside. Ryback with a body scissors on the mat now. Punk turns it around and unloads with elbows. Ryback charges but misses in the corner. He misses again and hits the ring post. Punk comes back with kicks. He ducks a clothesline and hits more offense on Ryback. Punk comes back with a swinging neck breaker and calls for the GTS. Heyman takes the mic at ringside and introduces himself, distracting Punk. Heyman brags about pinning Punk and says he's the best in the world. Punk turns around to Ryback running over him. Ryback nails the powerbomb for a close 2 count. Ryback goes for 2 more pins, but Punk takes the shot. Heyman yells for another powerbomb. Ryback goes for it. But Punk slides out and drops Ryback with a part of a roundhouse kick. Punk with a high knee and a bulldog. Punk goes to the top and nails a big elbow drop for a 2 count, Macho Man style. Punk with a big knee in the corner and another as Heyman looks on. Punk misses the next high knee and Ryback grabs him in midair. Punk counters and takes Ryback down. Punk goes for the GTS, but Ryback fought out of it with elbows. Ryback with a big power slam for a 2 count. Ryback works over Punk on the ropes. Heyman pulls a kendo stick out from underneath the ring and the referee catches him. Punk takes advantage of the referee being distracted and hits a low blow on Ryback for the win. Winner of the match, CM Punk. And then we get promo video for tonight's WWE title match. Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton. Indian Man has some technical difficulties, but the pay-per-view is back online as well as the internet feed. With the vacant WWE title still sitting at ringside as the announcers hype the match. We go to the ring. Out first comes Randy Orton. We find out later that there was a power outage in the building. Daniel Bryan was out next to a huge spot from Buffalo. They lock up and they go at it. Bryan takes Orton to the mat first. They trade holds. Bryan with a pin attempt. More back and forth before they trade holds again. Orton drops Bryan with a shoulder. More back and forth with more holds on the mat. Bryan unloads on Orton with forearms on the mat while he has him down with a submission. Bryan with a kick in the corner now as Bryan climbed up for a superplex, but Orton crotched him on the top rope. Orton clothesline Bryan off the ropes and Bryan falls on his head. Orton with a 2 count. Orton turns it around and mounts Bryan in the corner with right hand. Orton keeps control and works Bryan over in the corner. Orton runs into a big boot, but catches Bryan with a power slam for a 2. Orton with a slingshot suplex for a 2. Orton ends up on the floor, and Bryan leaps out with a suicide dive. Bryan kicks up against the barrier. Bryan whipped Orton hard into the barrier and followed up with a big drop kick. Bryan goes up top, but Orton catches him with a power bomb for a 2 count. Orton with a Boston Crab now for his own submission. Bryan crawled to the ropes for the escape, but Orton pulls it back into the center ring. Bryan turned the Crab into a 2 count. Bryan goes for the orgasm lock, but Orton makes it to the ropes. Bryan slides out of the ring, but Orton counters and sends him into the steps. Orton pulls Bryan's shoulder into the ring post as the referee counts. Orton backdrops Bryan over the barrier and drops him on the floor. They come back in at 9, and Orton covers for a 2. Orton took Bryan back to the top for a superflex. Bryan headbutts Orton back to the mat. Orton goes right back and crosses Bryan on the top rope. Orton climbs back up and nails the superflex after all. They both get up and go at it, trading shots in the middle of the ring. They try uppercuts as well as the crowd chants. Bryan backslides Orton for a 2 count. Bryan drops Orton with a kick to the head for a close 2 count. Bryan tries to suplex Orton in from the apron, but Orton counters and suplexes Bryan hard to the floor. Orton took apart the announcer's table. Orton goes to powerbomb Bryan through it, but Bryan slides out and unloads with kicks. Bryan sends Orton into the steel steps. Bryan climbs to the top and leaps out onto Orton and the floor. Orton goes down and Bryan brings him back in the ring. Bryan climbs to the top and nails a big headbutt for a 2 count. Bryan with a big drop kick in the corner and another. Bryan hits 2 more drop kicks in the corner and Orton goes down. The 5th running drop kick is a low one. Fans start chanting, yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. As Bryan gets pumped up, Bryan with kicks to the chest as Orton is on his knees. Orton blocks a roundhouse kick and suplexes. He suplexes Bryan over his head. Orton nails the second rope draping DDT and ready for RKO. The crowd's way into this one and ready for the finish. Orton mocks Bryan and hits the mat. Bryan blocks the RKO. Orton ducks the kick and rolls Bryan up for a 2 count. Bryan counters and applies the orgasm lock. Big Show's music hits and out he comes running to the ring. Show pulls the referee to the floor as the crowd boos. Bryan breaks a hold and looks at Show in shock. Bryan asks Show what he's doing. Show responds with a knockout punch through the ropes. Hey, you sold out! Chant breaks out as Brad Maddox appears on the stage and calls out referee Scott Armstrong. He comes in to count the pin, but Show pulls him out of the ring. Show then knocks out Armstrong with a punch. Show enters the ring and has words with Orton. And then Big Show drops Orton with a knockout punch of his own. And Show gets hype as the crowd goes nuts as Maddox is looking on in shock. And Show's music hits as he hits the turnbuckle to pose for the fans as Battleground goes off the air with an apparent no contest and no winner, with Orton and Bryan still knocked out. And that ends my pay-per-view results for October's Battleground. Thank you and peace out.